Welcome to Football with Cheese. So in today's video, we're going to go over a few different topics. Basically, I'm going to go over the really bad teams in the NFL and why they suck. There's 3 things they do terribly. So make sure you are subscribed. If you have not, and hit the bell for notifications, never miss one of my videos. Typically on Thursdays, I do a team-focused video, but I've been thinking about this for a while. And now that everyone's played 4 games, I can go ahead and make this video. Also, for everyone that joined the watch-along on Monday and Tuesday with me and Mike, really appreciate it. We did the Monday Night Football watch-along. And then Tuesday night we did Reds-Dodgers. Because on the Lights Out podcast, every Tuesday night, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, we talk NFL, college football. We also talk baseball. Mike's big baseball guy. I'm the big football guy. So link in the description for that. We're going to do more watch-alongs in the future. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of viewers, more than we expected, so really appreciate that. All right, so let's get into it. Before we get into why these teams suck, I just want to mention Ryan Clark. I hate talking about him, but one of my subscribers, he actually went back and watched some of my earlier videos. Ryan Clark video I did back in the spring. I started this channel in January. And he sent me one of Ryan Clark's takes from last week. Now, I don't watch NFL Live. I don't watch the pregame show because Ryan Clark is just horrible. Mina Kimes is terrible. She has no clue what she's talking about. And Marcus Spears, I think that's his name, he's awful as well. There's nobody good except for Dan Orlovsky, so I just don't watch it. But I had no idea Ryan Clark said this. Ryan Clark is not funny. He's not likable. And he has the worst takes. There's nothing about him that makes you want to watch. And he's a race baiter. And a hypocrite. But he said this last week before the Bears-Raiders game. Okay? To me, Ashton Jeanty doesn't have that pop. Doesn't have that thing that makes him different. What's Ashton Jeanty's it factor? Obviously, he did not watch college football this past year. He finished second in the Heisman. He was unbelievable for Boise State. He torched Oregon, who was the number 1 seed in the playoff. He torched them. 6th overall pick. Here's what Ryan Clark doesn't understand. There are so many runs where Ashton Jeanty is touched 2-3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. The offensive line is so bad at run blocking. Not as bad as the Bengals, but really bad. Bottom 5 team in run blocking. He has no holes. So he finally faces a really bad run defense in the Bears. And he torched him. Of course, after Ryan Clark said these comments, if you're struggling, just message Ryan Clark on X and ask him to rip you. Because he's got the worst takes. Every time he says something, the player just goes off. He's ripped Jordan Love in the past. He's ripped all these other quarterbacks. And then they have these huge games. But Ashton Jeanty went off, broke tackles, just looked amazing. Yes, it was the Bears defense, but he broke so many tackles. Just an outstanding game. He's such a special, special player. Please, Raiders, get him some run blocking in the offseason, and he could have a 2,000-yard season in the future. He's that good. Ryan Clark is an idiot. He is complete shit. Get him off the air. Okay. Just want to mention something about quarterbacks. We'll get into that when we talk about why teams suck, but 6 starting quarterbacks this week, 6, went to University of Oklahoma, at least for 1 season, or started at University of Oklahoma. Some of them transferred, like Spencer Rattler transferred to South Carolina, Dylan Gabriel transferred to Oregon, but they all started at Oklahoma. So that's quarterback U. They are Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, Spencer Rattler, Dylan Gabriel, and Caleb Williams. That's right, Caleb Williams started at Oklahoma. So that's pretty cool. That's quarterback U, just like Ohio State and LSU or wide receiver U, Penn State's linebacker U. So John Mateer, even though he's hurt right now, quarterback Oklahoma, no pressure, really talented, no pressure, but you need to start in the NFL. You're Oklahoma quarterback. There you go. Okay, one more thing I almost forgot to mention. If you want an elite pass rusher, you pretty much have to use a first-round pick on them. There's something called true pressure rate. And I looked at the top 10, this season in the NFL. And one player on the top 10 was not a first-round pick. and that is Trey Hendrickson of the Bengals, who is 6th on this list. Everyone else is a first-round pick. Micah Parsons is first. Will Anderson for the Texans. Josh Hines Allen, Jaguars. Aiden Hutchinson, Lions. George Karlaftis, Chiefs. Abdul Carter, Giants. Jeffrey Simmons, Titans. Myles Garrett, Browns. Jared Verse, Rams. One, Trey Hendrickson, was not a first-round pick. If I'm a GM, I'm drafting quarterbacks, offensive line, and pass rushers in the first round. Just ignoring everything else, unless somebody special like a Tyler Warren falls to you, or Justin Jefferson, somebody really, really good. You're like, how is he still there? But anyway, I just want to mention that. So why do teams suck? There are really 3 things that I looked at on why these teams are bad. Now, some of these teams have 2-2 records, some have 0-4, some are 1-3. Obviously, the Ravens are 1-3. Their defense is horrible, but they're not a bad team. Of course, Lamar Jackson out could be a lost season for them. I also don't think the Houston Texans are a bad team. We're going to talk about them. They're kind of the outlier of this list, but 3 reasons they suck. The first reason, I think it's obvious. You don't have a top 15 quarterback. You have to have a quarterback in the NFL to win. Very simple. Number 2 reason, the defense sucks. It can't stop anything. You have to get stops. You have to get 3rd and 4 stops, get off the field. Yeah, you can force turnovers, but you're not always going to do that. You're going to run to a team at some point, especially in the playoffs, that just doesn't turn the ball over. You're going to play the Bills, and they just don't fumble, and Josh Allen just doesn't throw interceptions. So turnovers are inconsistent. It's really good if you force them, but you have to get stops and force punts in the NFL to win it all, to become a contender. And the third reason, and this is a trend we've talked about on the Lights Out podcast, me and Mike have talked about a lot, is bad offensive line play. And if you look at the worst teams in the NFL, they suck at all 3 of these. I will give you some examples now. The Bengals are 2-2, but they suck. Joe Burrow is injured. Jake Browning is not a good quarterback. God, he's playing terrible. He played decent a couple years ago, filling in for Burrow, but he's been terrible. The offensive line is awful, especially run blocking. And the defense can't stop a thing. I know they're 2-2, but they were 2-0 with Burrow, 0-2 without him. So, yes, that is why they suck. Tennessee Titans. Now, Cam Ward is a rookie quarterback. He doesn't have a lot of help. I still think he can be decent. I don't think he'll ever be a top 10 quarterback. I was not as high on him as most people, but he has not played well. But the offensive line is horrific. And the defense, I don't think it's a bad defense. I think it would be probably middle of the pack if they had any kind of offense, but it's not looked good because of how bad the offense is. Some of these teams on here, the defense isn't good because the offense is just always going 3 and out or turning the ball over and putting the defense in bad situations, like the New York Giants. You know, they're starting Jackson Dart. I know they won, they beat the Chargers, but Dart did not look good as a passer. He looked good as a runner. Very good scrambler, but did not look good as a passer. Their offensive line is bad. The defense gets good pass rush, but it's been a little disappointing. I thought their defense would be better this year than it has been. But they have some really good young pass rushers. What's another team? How about the Carolina Panthers? Now, they're missing 2 starters on the offensive line, Austin Corbett and Robert Hunt. Really hurts their run blocking. So that's why their offensive line sucks. Their defense is terrible. Bryce Young has not played well. You know, he's hard to figure out. He played really well last 4 or 5 games last year. It looked like he was going to break out, and you get him Tanner McMillan, a really good receiver, and he hasn't taken the step. So that's why Carolina sucks. The Saints, Spencer Rattler's been better than I expected, but he's still not very good. The offensive line, been horrible at run blocking, not really giving Kamara a lot of help. And the defense, not as good as I expected. I thought it'd be just like the Titans, average defense, but it's been below average. It's not been good. This is why these teams suck. Oh, there are more examples. There's a bunch. There's a lot of bad teams. The league's designed to go 8-9 or 9-8, but a lot of these teams just draft poorly, and they're bad at these 3 spots. The Las Vegas Raiders, Geno Smith looks like the Jets' Geno Smith, not the Seahawks version. He has been terrible. The offensive line, we just talked about it, has not blocked well for Ashton Jeanty. And the defense is horrible. I mean, they make Caleb Williams look good. So, let's talk about the Bears. The offensive line, it's okay. At times it looks good. Other times, Caleb Williams has pressure in his face. I don't think Caleb Williams is a very good quarterback. His stats look pretty good. More than that in a second. And their defense stinks. But they are 2-2. Of course, they beat the Cowboys at home and Raiders by 1 point. And those teams can't stop a thing. I have a stat here. If I can find it. It's called completion percentage over expected. So what doesn't help your completion percentage? If a guy's just standing there wide open, a screen to a tight end or running back, someone who's just wide open down the field. If you watch the Cowboys versus the Bears, there were guys wide open all day long. Cowboys defense is so bad, especially down the field. It makes no sense that the Packers didn't take more chances downfield. I think they threw 8 or 10 screens or dump offs. When they did go deep, they hit it. I don't know why Matt LaFleur called the game so conservative. If you watch the Giants, they were just chucking down the field and getting completions like crazy. The Giants offense. Matt LaFleur, he needs to go. But anyway. But it's completion percentage over expected. So if you're very good at throwing into tight windows, you're very accurate, it's going to be higher than expected. If you're missing open guys consistently, then it's going to be lower. And you watch Caleb Williams in week 1 against Minnesota, he had about 5 or 6 passes where he missed guys that were easy passes everyone should make. So guess who's dead last on this list? There are 33 people. Caleb Williams, minus 10.2%. That means his completion percentage is 10.2% lower than expected. That tells me a bunch of things. One, his receivers are getting open. They certainly have against the Raiders and the Cowboys. There's a play where Cole Kmet, there's just no one near him. Rome Odunze's had that. Luther Burden's had that. And he's missed a bunch of guys. There was a play in week 1 against the Vikings where it's a touchdown, DJ Moore. No one's near him, and he overthrew him by 5 yards. Crazy. Another quarterback whose stats might look pretty good, who I've trashed on this channel, is Trevor Lawrence. He's second to last, minus 8.4%. Trevor Lawrence will make some good throws. So will Caleb Williams, because they have talent. They have arm talent. And then Trevor Lawrence will absolutely miss a wide open guy. And you're like, what are you doing? These are not good quarterbacks. Doesn't matter what the stats show. Doesn't matter what the record is for the Jaguars, 3-1. They're 3-1 because their defense has forced more turnovers than any team in the league. And they have to continue to do that. And I don't think they will. They're tied for first with the Colts, but the Colts are going to win that division. Colts are a much better team. Because Daniel Jones, yes, Daniel Jones is third on this list. 7.4% over expected. I'm shocked. He has a lot of help around him, but he's played really well. Didn't play as well against the Rams this past week, but the Rams defense has been really good, minus the second half against the Eagles. Dak Prescott, not a surprise, number 1. Drops don't hurt you in this. CeeDee Lamb had all his drops week 1. And Jared Goff is second. He's been pretty good. He had pressure in his face against Green Bay, but still was making completions. He just couldn't protect him. Lamar Jackson is 4th. Jordan Love is 5th. Jalen Hurts is 6th. A little surprised about that. I thought he'd be lower on this list because he really didn't look good till the last 6 quarters, and he's played pretty well. Drake May is 7th. Drake May played really well this past week against Carolina. Watch out. He just needs a little more help. Needs better receiving core, a little bit better offensive line. Watch out. He's very good. Sam Darnold looks great. He is 8th, and Matthew Stafford is 9th. And big drop-off after that. God, even Jake Browning is actually above average on this list. That's surprising. But the point I'm trying to make is Caleb Williams has not played very good defenses, especially the last 2 weeks. And he got a lot of completions in garbage time against the Lions. They were so far down. So the last 10 quarters, Caleb Williams has not faced a defense that was any good or playing prevent. So that's why his stats look good. All these Bears people on X, by the way, they report me all the time. Every time I post about Caleb Williams, they report me. It doesn't work. But this is telling me that Dak Prescott would get my MVP vote right now. He's been that good. And he's handled pressure better than any quarterback in the NFL this year. Going back to what we were talking about in this video, bad quarterback play, offensive line, defense, there are a couple outliers. The Cowboys, despite tying the Packers, they're not a very good team. Their offensive line is terrible at pass protection. Their defense is probably the worst in the NFL. But they have good quarterback play, but they're still a bad team. So there are a few outliers. And Texans, I don't think they're a bad team, but their offensive line is so bad. It's the worst offensive line in the NFL by far. That despite having a good defense and having a decent quarterback in C.J. Stroud, he was so good his rookie year, he's not getting much help. Despite that, the offensive line is so bad is why they're 1-3. But I think it's going to turn around for them. I still think they have a chance to make the playoffs, but their offensive line is horrific. So those are the two outliers. But the teams that are bad don't have a good quarterback, have horrible offensive line play, and can't stop anything. If you have all three of those, you're a bad team. If you have only one of those, you're still not a good team. If you have two of the three, then you can make the playoffs, but I still don't think you're a contender. You have to be good at all three to be a contender. The closest I think a team came to maybe overcoming it is 4 years ago, I believe. The Bengals almost won the Super Bowl with a horrible offensive line. Their defense was pretty good then, not so much now, and Burrow was playing out of his mind, but they couldn't block Aaron Donald. The offensive line could not block him, even when they double-teamed him, and that's why they lost the Super Bowl. Cooper Kupp won the MVP, but he was not even close to the best player on the field. Aaron Donald should have won that MVP. Cooper Kupp just caught a lot of balls. But yeah, you have to be good on the offensive line. You have to be good on defense, and you have to have probably a top 10 quarterback, not even top 15. You have to have a top 10 quarterback to be a contender. The Baltimore Ravens are another outlier. I don't think their offensive line's played too bad. It's been okay. Lamar Jackson's amazing, although he's been taking sacks. He's hold the ball too long. But their defense is horrible. They're last in points allowed. But Dan Orlovsky posted this stat, or he did a video. Where did I put it? I cannot believe this stat. The Ravens are dead last in running back carries on first and second down in the NFL. You have Derrick Henry. What are they doing? I know they've been behind a lot, but still, I don't care if you're behind. That's insane. They should be top 5 in the league, or maybe first, in running back carries in first and second down. Now, I know some of those are Lamar running, but still, that's another reason why they're 1-3. Not just the defense. They got to run the ball more. They got to protect that defense. They've had so many injuries, especially at defensive tackle. Now, at cornerback and at linebacker. God, the list is so long. Lamar's probably not going to play this week. Might not even play next week. They could be 1-5. Ugh, it's just such a mess in Baltimore. And I picked them to go to Super Bowl, not to win. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. I thought this was their year. I thought they had the best overall roster in the NFL. The secondary is still really good, but the rest of the defense has been horrible. So let's wrap this up. Comment down below. What do you think about anything I said? Did I forget a team that's really bad? Is there a team that's pretty good that's overcoming this? Let me know in the comments below. Once again, every Tuesday night, check out the Lights Out podcast. Me and Mike, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. If you're Mountain or Central, you can probably figure it out. You know, time zones can be tricky. I get it. Share this with anyone who loves football, college football, the draft, and of course NFL. That's the main thing we focus on. Tomorrow I will have the Week 5 preview and also recap the Thursday night game. I believe it's Rams 49ers. 49ers have a ton of injuries. I was going to preview that game and talk about it for a few minutes, but this is getting long. I just do not see the 49ers winning this game. It's on the road. They're both 3-1. The spread's 8.5. The Rams defense has been so good, minus the second half against the Eagles. But other than that, it's been really good. So I'm going to actually take them to cover the 8.5. There's just too many injuries for the Niners. So I think the Rams win. We'll just say 27-17. There we go. Rams win. If you have not, please check these out. And I'll see you in the video tomorrow for the Week 5 preview.